Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Michael King Michael. This is Legit Fantasy Football brought to you by legitpodcast.com. It is September 24th, 2023. For the math geeks, that would be 2 times 4 is 8, 9 minus 8 is 1. 2 plus 2 is 4, minus 3 is 1. That's how we get it back down to ones. Joining me as always, Brother Ray. What's up, Brother Ray?
What's going on? I always add up the numbers instead of multiplying them. So I'll take the digits and add them together.
I like to jump around and try to trick my brain, like try to subtract some, multiply others, just use all those 4 skills: division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. The 4
Use
big
that brain power, man. Just keep it active. Use that brain power.
Yeah, trying to. Joining us, Captain Cod. What's up, Sean?
What's up, gentlemen? We got a lot of games that could be upsets this week.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, but I don't want to get into that quickly because we're gonna start agreeing a lot. I think. Couple things to go over. House cleaning. Mastradamus, Mr. Never Left M1 will not be with us today. He's taking a personal day. He's I think he's interviewing again as a wide receiver for the Giants. So we'll see how he does. I'll let you know how he makes out. Other thing. So Ray, you know of it, but I don't know if Sean, you ever hear of Ultimate Autographs? Like they do that thing where they raffle off the equipment.
Oh yeah.
So I've won a lot there. I'm oddly enough, I win way more than I should. So they sent a $15 off for my birthday, like digital thing. So for like a 1 in 8 try at a jersey, it would be $11. So I was like, I'll do it one more time. So I did it on my birthday. Did it one time. I got the AFC West, gentlemen. I was like, oh my god, and Carl Mecklenburg.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great.
Did I not feel old? This is the team we beat in the '86. He was on the '86 Broncos that we beat. I'm like, what? That's weird, but yeah, right. A Mecklenburg jersey is pretty cool though, because like seriously, the orange is dope. Like hanging up in the bar over here at Bafangul, you hang up a Mecklenburg, you're good. You know what I mean? All right. So one last thing, Sean. I give everybody here nicknames. I just what I do. So Shawn the Comedian is how I'm gonna spin your name. I think that's funny. Like you always want names that are compatible, but also like a little bit arrogant. Like like Kev was the genius. You know what I mean? Like we always want people to be like, oh yeah. So it works that way. It works better. Start at the top, improve.
More like me.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, first game. Let's do this. There's a better chance now of us agreeing on games because last week Matt he didn't do too well with his solo shots. I think, but I can't say we did. We did, 6 out of 10 to him, like maybe 7 out of 3 tops. Close, but let's see what we do. Ray, the Chargers traveled to Minnesota. Minnesota is favored by 1. I always say Minnesota as if there's an R at the end. The Chargers versus Minnesota. Vikings -1, over under 54.5. What do you like about this game? What do you think?
Before the season started, if we looked at this game, we would think both these teams would be 2-0. Seriously. Like if you look at these teams and what everyone was predicting, I don't know what's happened to these teams. So this is going to be an interesting game to see who gets it right and who can get out of here with a W.
The over-under is the highest one on any games at 54.5. Apparently, there's going to be it's going to be offense because there'll be no D in this game.
And it's even. I have it as even from what I saw, which is unusual in itself. I don't know. I'm looking at this game. I'm looking at what the Chargers have shown me so far. They still don't have Austin Eckler this week. Kelly came back to earth last week. That Minnesota offense, I mean, Cousins is flinging it. The rookie Addison looks like he's legit. I think Madison's going to have a big week this week. I think he's angry. I think he's going to come out and they're going to try and run the ball. I like Minnesota at home if this thing's even. And I actually like the over in this. I think this is going to be a shootout. I don't think these teams have stopped anybody, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with the Vikings at home and the over.
All right. It's -1 on my count, so that's what we're going to go by. It'll be the same thing either way. Sean, what do you like?
I got -1 as well, and I like, just like Ray, I like the Vikings just because that's going to be a fast track. So anytime you get two teams evenly matched, you always take the home team, especially with Minnesota's history with fast track, going back to Randy Moss, Chris Carter. Now, don't ya know? Got to stick with those Vikings.
So, yeah, here's the thing. I've stared at this game for like about a week. The Chargers should be so much better than they are, and it's like, when are they going to wake up and, like, be more dominant? But I don't think it's going to happen, and I think the Vikings are just a better team at home. Like, -1 at home. Looking at this game, I'm thinking these two teams, it's what, 35-30, like 35-28, or 35, even like 31, something silly like that. Like, the Vikings win at home by more than one. So I'm going along with that one too. Second game. Here's a game with no offense. So it would just be fence. It's the Tennessee Titans, Sean, going to the Cleveland Browns. Browns are favored by 3. Now, I got to just really quickly say, I like the Titans in this game to win outright. This is the first of the many upset dogs I think that's going to go down today. I like the Titans to beat the Browns. I think the Browns aren't that good. Neither are the Titans, but they still have running backs. So I'm going to go with Tennessee's backfield and take them in this game. Getting the points, but an upset. Sean, to you.
Gotta agree. All day long. I think this is going to be a rather quick show because I think we're going to be in agreement a lot today. Hopefully, Ray. Tennessee has that running game, can pound the rock. It's going to be take the under all day if you can, just because you're not going to see a lot. Hopkins is still hobbled, but playing. But yeah, you're not going to see too much from this game except for defense if you love it. So that's my pick.
38.5 over under. Ray, they're saying they're not going to score 20 points a team. So what do you like in this?
I agreed. I have the under as 38, and I love the under in this game. Tennessee has the #1 run defense in the league. So Ford is not going to have an easy day. They're going to try and establish the run, but Tennessee, again, very stout. Deshaun Watson is not a good football player this year, guys. There's no way to sugarcoat this. I've seen 2 games of his, and I haven't seen a quarterback bounce that many balls to receivers in a long, long time. He's not even close, guys. Not even close. He's not a good football player right now, and I think Ryan Tannehill's better, and I'm going to take the 3.5. That's a great number. Great number, and I know Cleveland's at home. Their defense, I think their defense has been playing lights out, keeping them in games, but Pittsburgh had their way with them at the end last week, and that really got my attention. I love Tennessee in this.
Oh, that's odd that we would start off agreeing on the first 2 games. Hopefully that's a good sign, not a bad. Sean, here's a game that I don't think anybody wants to watch. Houston travels to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's favored by 7.5 at home, over under of 43.5. Who do you like and why?
I just was going back and forth. Houston surprisingly has a lot of talent on their team, and a lot of people sleep on Houston. The 7 points is a lot, even at home. That's why I went for one of my surprise picks of the week. I went with Houston, and gonna get those big old stakes. Gonna get out there. Gonna kick some bum.
Now
do it.
Now look, I went with the Texans as well because I had it at 7.5, even at 7. Again, my whole theory on Houston is they're ugly, and they'll make it an ugly game. And this is another upset watch that I would claim. I would claim that the Houston Texans have a chance to upset the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe no one wants to hear that, but this game is too close for 7.5 or 7. So I have to go with Houston just for that reason. No. Right.
I agree. Home field advantage means nothing for Jacksonville. They really disappointed last week. They were completely taken off their game. They had no answer offensively. Houston is not the Texans of old. I said this last week. CJ Stroud has come into his own. And guys, if he's available in fantasy leagues, you need to pick him up right now. I'm actually thinking of dropping Deshaun Watson in one league to pick up CJ Stroud. This kid, 380 something yards in his second professional start. Guys, I mean, and they were missing 4 of their starting offensive linemen for the first 2 weeks. This kid's been sacked 11 times, okay? And he's still doing this. This is a different team. I love them today, getting 7.5. That half point makes a big, big difference. I love it, but I'm going to go with the over. I think this is going to be a shootout.
You know what? It's funny, Ray, is the only place you lost me is when you mentioned how many sacks he took. Because as a Giants fan, we think every play is under duress. Isn't every play under duress? Doesn't your quarterback have to run for his life on every play? Do you know that they did the whole PFF thing, grading on the Giants and whatever? Awful. Some of the people in the 20s. Look, 47% point whatever times Daniel Jones stepped back to throw, he was under pressure. One out of every 2 times he threw the ball, he had to run for his life.
If he wasn't such a good athlete, San Francisco would have had 20 sacks.
Yeah.
Literally, 20 sacks.
That's what I try to explain to people. Yeah, he missed some throws, but he was running for his life half the time. The clock in your head, it was 2 seconds, the average amount of time that pressure was applied on him. 2 seconds.
Even the backups. Even when San Francisco put their backups in at the end of the game, he was still getting pressured.
Getting lumped up. It's just the worst thing in the world. But anyways, all right. So, Shawn, actually, Ray, this is an NFC East one for you. This is a tough one, I think, to pick. The Patriots travel to MetLife Stadium, not JetLife Stadium, MetLife Stadium. They're still like our little cousins who rent our backyard. Like that. Let's just keep it how it is, please, Jets fans. Patriots, Ray, are favored by 2.5 at MetLife Stadium. Who do you like?
You know what? This AFC East showdown, both teams obviously very disappointed. One of them because of injury. The other, I mean, they ran into buzzsaws the first 2 weeks. I'm going to give the Pats a little bit of credit. They should have won that Eagles game. If Butte gets his second foot down, I mean, he should have done that. They win the game. They would have kicked the field goal, won that game. They were in it to the last drive last week, and it was a controversial call, close call, right call, but it was a close call. They were in that game as well. I have to go with the Pats this week, giving only 2.5 to the Jets with Wilson at quarterback. I think there's no way that Belichick goes 0-3. You saw it in the presser. That must have been a tough practice this week. I love the Pats this week. They're going to roll over the Jets. Give them 2.5. I'll take it. But I'm going to go with the under because I think their defense is going to stifle them.
35.5 I have it at. Oof. Korish. Shawn, who do you like in this game?
Well, could I? Let's do Korish. So we're going to say it's not the type of game that the Pats like. But unfortunately, it's right up their alley. Shitty quarterback, a defensive game, played in the rain. I mean, this is pretty much a gimme for me personally. I don't see a Belichick team going 0-3, or he's going to kill everyone in there with machete. So I'm sticking with that.
So I got to break up the harmony we've been having. It's been going pretty good, but I got to break it up. The Jets have a better running game, in my opinion. I think their running backs pound the Patriots and keep it close, like a field goal game. And the Jets win it outright. There's another upset right there. The Patriots aren't good. Like, I know Belichick has powers, but he can't make this team good. You know what I mean? He just can't wave a wand and make them good. And that Jets defense is brutal. Brutal. And they're going to be at home in the rain, just getting a hit. I like the Jets.
If the Pats lose this game, talk radio next week is going to be unbelievable.
Awesome. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it. All right. The New Orleans Saints travel to Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 1. The over-under is 41.5. I will go first. This one is one of those ones I've never swayed from. The Packers are the better team in this game, and they're at home, and it's 1. That's like a lock for me this game. Like, really, the Packers at home against the Saints. I don't care what the Saints do. Packers are a better team. They're gonna win by more than 1 at home. It just is what it is, right?
I gotta agree with you. I think Carr on the road is a liability. He's been a little bit better this year, but he's still making some bad decisions, throwing the ball up. They don't get Kamara back till next week. Jamal Williams out, so they're not operating on all cylinders. I don't think Aaron Jones plays today, and I don't think Christian Watson plays today. But their wide receivers have picked up, and we'll talk about a couple of these guys later when we talk fantasy. But I like Green Bay's defense. Their defense has quietly been very, very good. I love them at home, only giving 1 to the Saints. So I'm going to go Green Bay here. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to go with the under.
All right. We're in agreement so far. Sean, what do you like?
I've been going back and forth with this one all week. Green Bay, fantastic team, fantastic defense. I think the only thing is, I feel like, and I'm taking the Saints for this reason, Taysom Hill is going to have one of those games that he has where he plays quarterback, tight end, running back, concessions. He plays it all. And he breaks your heart when you know something's going to happen, and Hill all of a sudden screws it up. So I'm going to say Hill and the Saints.
All right. So I think Jordan Love puts on like a quality show. Like I have him prop betted at 2 touchdowns thrown and 200 yards. That's literally where I think he's going to fall in. You know what's funny is last week was the first time I ever did a prop bet, right? You know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no, it was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks ago. Was when the Giants won. I did Daniel Jones. I have over 50 yards because remember I was banging the drum how he's going to have to run against that team.
Yep.
And then I had Saquon Barkley having a touchdown, and then Daniel Jones, I think, over 200 yards. It was a really good parlay, and it came through. I was like, wow, because you know your own team, and you know what they're going to do because you've seen it. Like you've watched practice, for Christ's sake. So like you know the team that well. That's kind of what that was. But some of the prop bets, I like when they throw in guys that may not even play in the game. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, you ever seen that? You scroll down, you'll find somebody, you'll be like, is he even playing? Like, is that fair to do prop bets on people that may not even be playing? Shouldn't they check the injury thing before they do the prop bets? Oh, no.
Well, sometimes there'll be players that are going to play, and you can't find a prop bet to place money on them. Like, I think every player should have odds, so that if you're astute and you know that, hey, this person's going to erupt, and I think they should do that. But you see the way they skew it; they're usually pretty spot on. Really are. It's Vegas, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
Vegas, baby.
Sean, what do you think of the prop bets? Are you a fan or are you not a fan?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you look for?
I'm a daily fantasy player first, prop bet second, and anyways, for today, I would say garbage time. We might actually see, and I'm blanking on his name right now, but guy Cleveland brought back this week. Old running back.
Oh, the running back, Hunt.
Yeah, I think he might get a garbage time touchdown. I think that's one thing to take a look at during that game, just because I could see them totally getting destroyed, Cleveland, out of nowhere, even though it's going to be a defensive battle in my head.
You think Mike Hunt scores?
Yeah, could get a shitty touchdown, yes.
Mike Hunt?
Yeah.
Say his name back to me. Can you say his name back to me?
I think he's going to get warm, and when you get warm, sometimes you got to get a little, you know what I mean? You got a little dirty in there.
Can you just say his name back to me?
Yeah, I'm saying when you get with Mike Hunt, sometimes he gets hot, and when he gets hot, sometimes he gets a little, he gets a little dirty. But I like the dirt.
Yeah.
When you get in the dirt, you know what I mean? It don't hurt.
Mike Hunt's used to the dirt. Mike Hunt is used to the dirt. He's used to it.
Yeah, he's a juicy pick. Yeah. You go with what you want.
Yeah. I like that you just offered up Mike Hunt like that. So Ray, going over to now the Dolphins. I'm gonna give my pick first because I don't know if you're gonna like it. Broncos are going to Miami. Miami's favored by 6. The over/under is 47.5. Miami is gonna lose today, outright. Unfortunately, the Broncos, because that's how crazy the AFC East works. that's how these teams always do these things. They play heroic games and then they blow a game to another team that's like middling of a team. I like the Broncos to win the game outright. No Waddle. That's not that big a deal, but it is. And then the thing is, the Broncos, they just stick around. Russell Wilson, I would never want as my quarterback. I don't like the way he plays. Some guy like Ben Roethlisberger, I just could never get into the way he played. Like I could never be a Steeler fan. Like, because he would run around, shoe would fall off. He'd have like a shoulder pad out. He's still extending the play, and I'm just like, throw the ball, please. So that's kind of how I feel about Russell Wilson. But Ray, what do you think about your Dolphins at home, -6?
I mean, I'm wearing the colors. I'll be watching the game. I don't like Miami giving 6 at home. Miami is not a good team, at least last year, playing at home. They were better on the road last year, which is crazy to think. I think that they win the game, but they're not going to win the game by 6. I like Denver getting the points. I think Javonte Williams is going to have a big day today. I'm just worried about them against the run and with Sean Payton dialing up plays against them. So I'm going to go with Denver plus the 6. I do think Miami wins the game. And I'm going to go with the over here. I know there's no Waddle, but they're still gonna fling the ball around. And Denver's got a decent defense. So, this could also be a day that Judy finally gets off the snide. He didn't do it last week. I think Miami wins the game, but they don't cover.
Yeah. Oh, so you agree with me on the point spread?
Spread, yes.
You think that the outcome of the game will be different, Sean?
I agree with you guys on this one. Going with Miami to win outright, but Denver to win with the points. Judy, I think, is finally healthy-ish. Judy?
I know, but he's become one of those people that I got to go, who? Like, because he's never there. He's now become that guy. Judy, who? Like
his price on daily fantasy is right now in the 6,000 range. It's like 5,900, 6,000. And you're looking at guys like Zay Jones. Are going cheaper than him, and it's just like, what is this world coming to?
It's all expectations, right? It's all expectations. Like Judy should be the name, because he should be doing this. He should be having this many receptions. But
yeah, it's Hootie.
Yeah, Ray, what do you think about Jerry Judy? What's the deal with him?
I mean, he coming out, he was one of the most polished Alabama receivers to come out. I remember, he had it all. Could run routes, can get off the line of scrimmage, can run deep. Couldn't stay healthy. And for one reason or another, they had some bad teams. He didn't do well. But I saw people like Cortland Sutton, I'll play him. Tim Patrick, I'll play him. Last year, he put it together, though, at the end. He came back and really put it together at the end. So you would think with Sean Payton, and that was a horrific offense last year, you would think with Sean Payton in town, he becomes the next, Michael Thomas. That was what was supposed to happen. Again, gets hurt again. So we'll see. Eventually it could happen. He does have the ability. Just hasn't happened yet. It's just strange.
He didn't pull a Henry Ruggs, but it's been disappointing to say the least. Like Henry Ruggs' career was very disappointing. Extremely disappointing. You know what I mean?
For much different reasons, yeah.
Jail and everything. So, all right, we're in agreement on that one. Moving on to the next one. The Buffalo Bills travel to Washington to play the Magic Johnson-owned Commies. The Bills are -5.5. It's a over-under 43. I'm going to start with this one. I am the NFC East whisperer. The Commies will... this is another upset alert. I hate to say that because it sounds so ridiculous to people that are Buffalo Bills fans. But this Redskin team is pretty good. The quarterback is actually pretty good. It's an ugly defense to play. You're going to play in Washington. There's going to be all those fat guys in the crowd wearing the pig noses, which is great. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but there's going to be a ton of those guys yelling at you and stuff. I like the Commies at home +5.5. Sean?
I'm one of those guys who likes to sit home and wear my pig nose in the comfort of my own home.
If I had one, I would put it on, I think.
No. And but I don't know. I really don't know with this one. It's a pick 'em. I think this is going to be very high scoring. I think it's going to be over all day. and I don't know. I'm gonna go with my heart. Gonna go with the commies.
I want to phrase it that way. I'm gonna go with my heart and go with the commies. That was weird.
I mean,
You're
some
not a
say,
commie, are you?
some people say
Mm.
that they're not commies. They're great. They could be the best. No one knows. But many people.
Z Moss or Ford standard league.
I would go more Moss today because Ford's going against the best run defense in the league.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, and there's your answer. So Ray, it's up to you with the Bills and the commies. My heart says the commies also, but who do you like?
I think if this spread was 7 or more, I think I'd be on Washington's side. But being that I have it at 5.5, and I love Sam Howell, by the way. Sam Howell is one of my favorite players coming out this, one of my favorite sleeper quarterbacks in that offense, in that Chiefs offense. He can run. Another guy in fantasy you want to pick up if he's available in any leagues. I think he's just going to get better and better. He would have been a first round pick if he didn't, have a bad senior season in North Carolina. I love Buffalo today. I think they've woken up. They had the running game going last week. Cook went bananas. They have just too many weapons. I think I love them. Anything under 7, I have to take the Bills here.
See, the Bills are a better team. I'm not going to disagree. But when you go play in Washington, odd things happen in Washington, right? It's just another team that can play ugly or make you look ugly, make the game look ugly. Like, stay close when they shouldn't be even close. Kind of when the Giants are only down by 8, 20-12. Should have been like 50-12 because that's how they were playing. But, the Bills are one of the better teams in the league.
And I agree. If I'm channeling my inner Mastradamus right now, he would say that 5.5 is a trap.
Yep.
Because Vegas knows
that
Washington's going to lay one on them.
Yep.
I just can't do it. I have to go with the chalk in this one, but you never know.
He would definitely say that, by the way. He would definitely have said that. Because I actually was thinking it myself. Like the Bills one of the top AFC teams, right? The commies not one of the top NFC teams. So a touchdown difference makes sense. But you throw 5.5 at me, and I'm like, you're tricking me. You're trying to get me to think that it's under 7. Like everyone said, ooh, it's under 7, and that's how they get you. I still like the commies there. All right, Ray, Atlanta goes to Detroit. That would be that's a rap war right there right now. Atlanta to Detroit. Falcons are getting 3 to play the Lions. The over under is 47.5. Ray, who do you like?
Well, that 3 is interesting because I have it at 3.5, and I have Detroit given 3.5. And based on that 3.5, I'm going Atlanta because I think the same old Lions, they showed us last week. That was a game that they should have won, and they completely laid an egg. And I know Monty got hurt, and Gibbs will be the guy this week. He, pretty good prospect, I think, fantasy-wise. But I don't know. I like Atlanta. They're more physical this year. They can come at you with 2 quality running backs. Detroit can't do that right now. And Drake woke up last week. Ritter didn't look that bad. So I like Atlanta. I think their defense has been playing much better. I think they have the better defense. I'm going to go Atlanta here, getting 3.5. If it was 3, that's where I would get shaky. But I have it as 3.5, so I'm going Atlanta here.
All right, Sean?
Ray, what do you have? King, what do you have the line at right now?
Lions -3.
Okay, yeah. I think that might be a draw. But it depends on Amon-Ra St. Joseph of the Apostles' toe. If he thank you. Amon-Ra St. He if it's all right, I'm going Detroit. I'm gonna take a gamble and say his big toe's okay.
I need to know if the other guy's healthy. The one that's been playing well for me for the Lions. Oh God, what is his name, Ray? The wide receiver from the Lions.
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, he's in my starting lineup. I watched him play last week. Like he catches a lot of important balls. Like when they get down near the goal line, stuff like that. That he's money.
Yeah, he loves him. Yeah, they played together at the Rams, so he has more chemistry with him probably than any wide receiver on the team, Goff.
Yeah.
So.
But he was listed as questionable. I'm still waiting to see if they do clear him or not. Because Josh Reynolds was questionable last I looked. Let me look again really fast. Questionable but good to go. It was the last 1 hour ago. Also, listen, I'm not Brown.
Falcon secondary is good. Falcon secondary, they went out. They signed some serious free agents. Their secondary is much better than last year.
Yeah, but listen, with St. Brown and Reynolds both playing, would you start Reynolds or DJ Shark?
Oof.
There you go.
I don't think I'm starting DJ Shark.
There you go. Now. And I'm starting Devontae Parker for the Patriots.
Oof.
No, I think he's good. All right. I just keep saying this. That kid should be really good there. He just should be. And we'll see. We'll see today. I think he's gonna have a big day. I do. That's my I guess my sleeper wide receiver.
And for sleepers today, by the way, Sam Laporta, tight end for Detroit, I think he's gonna score a touchdown today.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Spot on.
All right. So, Shawn, who did you end up going with?
I ended up going with Detroit, I believe.
All right.
Yes, Detroit.
I like Atlanta in this game. This, you know what? I just like. I guess I see a lot of upsets today. Like I really do see a lot of weird games go down. Like this is the week that weird games would go down, right? Week 3. Like you'll see like really good teams lose to bad teams and not be able to figure out why. It's because nobody's gelled yet. I'm going with Atlanta. Ray, Colts at the Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 7.5 at home. It's an over-under of 48.5.
Well, this is a very strange game because Richardson is not playing. If Richardson was playing, I would be all over the Ravens because they know what to do to a rookie quarterback that's really more successful at running. You saw what they did to Stroud week 1, and Stroud didn't play that bad, but they sacked him like 6 times. This is a very, very interesting game because I don't know. I think Indy could be more productive on offense this week. They're getting 7.5. Ravens have Gus Edwards. Justice Hill is out. Odell banged up. This is a game where I actually love the Colts. I love the Colts getting 7.5, but I keep saying to myself, why would you take the Colts? They're not a good team, but their defense has been playing better. It's just going to be one of those games. I think I'm going to take the 7.5 with Indy.
That's exactly where I'm at with this. Like, look, 7.5 is a lot. Like, this is going to be another one of those beat 'em up type of games, right? It's the Colts coming back to Baltimore. There's bad blood just in that alone. It'll be a close game, and this is another upset I think could happen. I could see the Colts winning this game because if they play a standard offense, they'll stay in the game, and at the end they might win it.
Minshew magic. This is what he does.
I know.
This is what Gardner Minshew does.
I know this.
Right?
So I am too going with the Colts, and that's another one on my upset alert. Shawn.
We need to break out the acoustic guitars this week because it's going to be kumbaya, I feel like, because I'm going Colts all day.
All right. So the 1 o'clock games, we agreed on the Vikings, agreed on the Titans game, we agreed on the Texans game, we agreed on the Broncos, we agreed on the Colts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 locks for the 1 o'clocks. Wow, that rhymes. Wow. Vikings, Titans, Texans, Broncos, and Colts. Vikings, Titans, Texans, Broncos, and Colts. Now, out of those games, the Titans are the underdogs. I personally, see them winning that game. I can see the Texans winning their game, but we picked them. I can see the Broncos winning the game. Sorry, Ray. I can also see the Colts winning that the last of the games we picked. So we're taking underdogs mostly, but I actually see them winning, which is why it's so weird to me today. Like maybe I'm off, maybe I'm totally off, but that's all I'm feeling is upsets. Before we go to the 4 o'clocks, quickly, as a Giants fan, right? It's been about 7 or 8 years where they have promised to fix the offensive line. All right. I'm starting to feel abused. I get beat up every week, and the Giants tell me that they'll take care of it, and then they'll change, and it won't be like that anymore. And then they beat me up next week. Like for real. Like I'm getting to the point where I'm having like PSD, or PTSD, or whatever those letters are. I'm just
PTSD.
trying to have, I know it is, but I'm having those problems where I'm watching the games and I just start yelling and screaming, and my blood pressure goes way up, and I worry about like a stroke because I'm 90. The thing is, why have we not fixed the offensive fucking line? Like, what is going on with they got guys in there that are so like Azudu at left tackle. All right. All right. All right. All right. Evan Neal was drafted. How early? How early? Came out of college as a left tackle? Huh? Right? And just because you want to make him grow as a right tackle, you keep him at right tackle, and Azudu plays left tackle? Really? Azudu got a grade like a 22 out of 100. He was getting killed. That kid's a guard. He never played tackle even college. Putting Azudu there was bad. It was why can't Evan Neal go to left? You're trying to tell me he can't move back to left? He'd probably be better there. What if he's better at left tackle because that's his natural position, right? Oh, you can't try that out? Maybe put Thomas at right just for one game, for crap's sake? Neal gets killed at right tackle. Killed. And the guards they put in there get killed. Other than John Michael Schmitz, Schmidt, there's a bunch of other names, Jr. at center, I wasn't confident in that whole line. And as a fan, how many years in a row do we have to go through the fact that we can't fix the offensive line? Ray, help me with this. Why is it the Giants cannot figure out how to get 5 guys out there that can play offensive line? Ray?
Well, I mean, I think they're stars. I mean, not having Thomas, at left tackle really, really hurts them right now.
He's
they
not
haven't
been that great though this year. I get it, but yeah.
I mean, when you don't have that continuity and you don't have your left or right tackle in the game, now you start testing your depth. And not all of these NFL teams have the depth that's necessary. That to me goes to coaching, because if you coach the right way, like places like New England, you just throw people in there and they do the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a street free agent or if it's a 3rd round pick. They come in and they get the job done. The Giants, I don't know where they're getting these guys, but it's not working, because it seems like they come in and they don't even know the system. They just look lost. So to me, that comes down to coaching. Because good coaches, they just cycle people in. They have a certain type, a certain body type. Doesn't matter if they get them in the 3rd round or if they're signed off the street. They get people that fit their system. And I don't know, from what I'm seeing with the Giants, Daniel Jones is lucky he's alive after that last game. I thought they were going to kill him by the end of the
Beetle
game.
Bailey. Yep.
Just smushed. If I could tell you a nice story from far, far long ago. There was a team called the Denver Broncos that had offensive line problems last year that everyone was saying was the worst offensive line of all time. The Patriots decided, hey, Calvin Anderson, he was on that line. We need him to play tackle. And because of that, he single-handedly lost us the game. We can blame penalties all we want or lack of calls. Calvin Anderson might be one of the worst offensive tackles I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, so the problem is no one has an offensive lineman they want to trade.
No.
Yeah.
No one has one they want to get rid of, because if he's good, they want to keep him. And we just keep – look, to watch your team get beat the way that the Giants got beat, right? The offensive line looked like dogs. They just looked like they're getting beat. They weren't protecting the quarterback. They weren't helping us out. It was just brutal, right? And on defense, Kayvon should just bring out a lawn chair from now on, and just put the lawn chair down and start off sitting down like this, right? Because he showed no effort, none.
He's good at starting fights, though. I will say.
Oh yeah, he's really good at
starting fights.
Yeah, and cleaning up sacks. Cleaning up sacks. The young kid who got hurt, flushed the pocket. Quarterback ran up. Kayvon just happened to be there because you're taking a timeout, and he just tackled him. But one of the tackles, if you saw, Kayvon wrapped that guy and hugged him. That's not a tackle. The guy carried him. It was a very embarrassing. Lawrence Taylor would have never hugged that running back. Lawrence Taylor would have been coming at 90 miles an hour with his head down, looking to hurt that guy as much as he could. Kayvon wrapped him up like a hug, Shawn. Like, come on. If we're playing even pickup football and somebody on our team does that, they hug the other guy, I'm not throwing the ball anymore. I wouldn't throw the kid the ball, would you?
Never.
No, there's no effort. None. And then Azeez Ojulari, our other great end, can never play. He's got hamstring issues all the time. I have a problem with hamstrings, right? I think the hamstring is the most milked injury that I can think of. Like, I can't think of another injury that people just die. It's a hamstring injury. Sometimes I go, is it really? Is it really a hamstring? Is it always a hamstring? Is it really? Like, you guys, when they do the injury report, you ever guess that? Like, think like, is it really his hamstring, or is there other issues? Or is that just me?
I mean, I think it's clear that since Watson, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm getting my hamstring pulled too." Yeah, it's mine. It's mine. I need to go to massage. I need the masseuse, and it's clearly hamstring gate. Let's get on it.
Yeah, I don't. Ray, what do you think of all this hamstring stuff?
I think sometimes they do it just to throw the other team off. Like, I mean, I wake up every day with a hamstring issue, both hamstrings. That's every day. That's like now. So I think they kind of use it to play head games. I mean, look at Monday night with Burrow. Cincinnati's playing games right now. Like, oh, he may play. We're going to wait for pregame warm up. It's just to mess with the other team and fantasy owners, of course. So, yeah, I mean, these guys, they're in shape, they're fit. So they blow out of hamstrings because they're athletes.
Yeah. You know what? So that's the thing though. Like, again, I don't believe them sometimes. And the other times is, what exactly is a hamstring issue? Like, cause is it what you just said? Is it stiff? Like, how about, like, it's just a ridiculous injury that goes on and on forever. Like, it's like a sprained toe, turf toe. Like, turf toe is actually legit, but that's like a weird thing to say. But then people are out for like weeks.
Could be like hamstring. 6 weeks. Yeah, turf toe could be like 6 weeks.
But hamstring is like weekly, and then they're always questionable, and they just play, and they play perfect, and it makes you think, like, he's not running at all like his hamstring hurts at all. And they always show up when they play at 100%. And you're like, they were injured? Really? Because I can
be season long, by the way. If you have a hamstring injury, you don't recover for that whole season. Like, you may be playing, but you're not.
I can't run up the stairs, Ray, right now in a full sprint without risking a hamstring. Like, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. Of course, like, it's a little, whatever. I digress. 4:00 games. Here we go. It is now 4:45. Let me throw our sponsor up. Highharvest.net. Highharvest.net. Edibles. One-on-one consultation. It's fantastic. Here we go to 4:00, guys. Here we go to 4:00. Carolina travels to Seattle, way up there. Seattle is favored by 5. The over/under is 42. I'm going to start this one off. I like Carolina. I'm not trying to just pick upsets. I'm telling you guys that. Like, I'm not purposely doing it. But I went through these games like 2 or 3 times, and I keep coming away with the same outcomes. I like Carolina to win this game. Never mind the -5. I just do. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be. Ray.
All I got to say is the Red Rifle. Back in the saddle today. Again, this is another one of those games. The two of the top rookie quarterbacks out of the draft, they're out. And I think their offenses play better. I think with Reich, his offense, we know it can be explosive. We just haven't seen it yet with Bryce Young. This could be a Red Rifle to Thielen day. You want to be risky? I would write up Thielen for 2 touchdowns today. I think that's a great prop bet, and I think he'd win a lot of money. Again, I hate to say this, and it's only 5. And I think this is the case where you do look at the spread and say, why isn't this 7? Why isn't this more than 7 with Seattle at home? I like Carolina, getting the 5 in this, and I think the Red Rifle brings home the win. There, I think it's a great money line bet too.
Yeah. Shawn, what do you think?
I on this went Seattle, only reason I went Seattle is there's so much offensive firepower that just hasn't really come out in Seattle. Seattle's been playing okay offensively, but there's so much talent there. They got to have this one breakout game. I mean, I hear everything Brother Ray's saying. It's absolutely could happen. But I think
I could also,
this has to be a breakup game, or else they're not proving a point. What are they even playing the season for if they can't get this offense going?
here's the thing, though. See, here's the thing. So I could clip what you just said about the Seattle and play it every week because it's the same thing with them. When are they gonna? When are they? They should be. They should be. Oh, they got a lot of offensive firepower, which they do, but they should be. Like
Yeah.
they're just that type of team. They're like, "Ah." You know what I mean? Like they're just not gonna get too big. They're not gonna go too low. They're just, "Ah." And I think Carolina has just more pop coming to this game. They're gonna have more of a. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're dead right. But like I said, that's said every week, right? Right. It's the same thing about Seattle that you could say every week. They should be.
I think Bryce Young. If Bryce Young is in this game, I'm Seattle all day. Like I am all over Seattle. I think the 5 points is. I think that's why it's not 7 because I think people with Bryce out of the game, I think they have a better chance. I hate to say it at this point in his career. I mean, he's going to be a good quarterback, but he isn't right now.
Yep. All right. So we split on that one, but I can see your point. I never have any faith in Seattle anymore. I just don't. Whatever. Dallas goes to Arizona. Ray, Dallas is favored by 13 over Arizona, right? In Arizona, the over-under is 43. Now, as the NFC East whisperer, I'm going to tell you this. Dallas wins by more than 13. That spread is there to make us think, oh my God, that's huge. I'm going to go with Arizona. Arizona stinks. The Cowboys may be the best Cowboys team I've seen in the last 10 years as a Giants fan. Like I'm terrified of that team. That defensive line is brutal. That defense is brutal. That offense will grind them into a pulp. The Giants drop what? 31 points in the second half on Arizona? The Giants. Keep that in mind. And they ended up winning 31-28. You put that in like, if you translate that to Cowboys, it's like going to be like 24-0. It's just going to be an absolute ass kicking. Like they don't stand a chance in my book against Dallas. Ray.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Dallas doesn't have Diggs this week. He's out. So that's a big loss. Probably one of the best starting corners in the league. But this is Arizona. And like I said in week 1, anything below 10 was like, for me, easy money. You look at this, I mean, they, last week the Giants should have crushed them. I don't know what happened, but I love Dallas this week. Ari's got 13, but they have no answer in the air. I mean, it's basically James Conner, that it's the James Conner show. Dobbs has been decent. He's been decent, but Dallas just has too much firepower. I don't care where they're playing this game. I don't think Arizona has a big home field advantage with that team. So I'll give the 13 gladly, and I'm going to go with the under because I don't see Arizona scoring a lot.
If at all. Keep in mind the Giants got beat by Dallas 40-0. 40-0. Then the Giants came back and dropped 31 in the second half on Arizona. Shawn, who do you like?
Oh, of course I like Dallas. Dallas reminds me a lot of that 08 Giants team, Giants front, where when they go with it used to be the NASCAR blitz, but really it's a bull rush. When they dial up that bull rush, the Dallas right now, like you were saying, I've never seen anything like that out of a Dallas team, probably in my lifetime, even the great teams. So with that said, yeah, you can't.
Micah Parsons is so fast, Shawn, right? That's what he's what makes me say Kayvon Thibodeau isn't trying. Because Kayvon doesn't come off the line at all like that. With any kind of Micah Parsons is going somewhere. He doesn't know where, but he's going to get there really fast, right? He just goes, which is like what you're supposed to do in that package. That's why the Giants were successful with Tuck, with Yara. Like they Pierre-Paul, just go. Just go. And that's what made that force so formidable, right? There's a lot of F's. But with Dallas, I'm saying Micah Parsons just goes, here I go. I mean, he's so good that he made Micah McFadden better just by the name. Yeah. He played better at 10 tackles just because he shares the first name, plays linebacker. That's how good he is. Well, go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
And by proxy, Bobby McFerrin got better. And it's
Did he?
just this whole world is getting better just
Yeah,
by
from what you
that
said.
bull rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't beat Dallas. Dallas, the only thing I'm worried about is if you play fantasy, their team is probably going to have the second half. They're going to have scrubs in.
Yeah.
So I'd stay away from Dallas players if you're counting on anything for the whole duration. It's not going to happen. But yeah, Dallas all day.
So the only way this spread gets squashed, guys, is if Dallas is up like 21 to like 3, and they put in the scrubs in the fourth quarter, and then Arizona sneaks that touchdown and makes it like a 10-point game. That's the only way I can see this spread flipping, because Arizona stinks. Like, it's just true. Like, their quarterback, he's just not very good. He's not. And when he was beating the Giants, I was like, what the? I couldn't believe that he was beating the Giants. Like, he looked like a superstar, but he's not. All right, next game, Chicago goes to KC. KC is favored by 13. The over-under is 48. Now, Brother Ray, before I give my pick on this, I just want you to understand that I'm not crazy, and I know that, maybe Matt would back me up on this. Whatever happened in Chicago, all the crap that's going down, right? Justin Fields getting just destroyed and throwing the whole coaching staff under the bus, right? Even if that got put together wrong, he's got to be angry. They all got to be angry. They have to have a chip on their shoulders after this week. They have to, right? Say they're not all focused. I think that's bullshit. I think they're all focused on their jobs. If anything, Justin Fields wants to go out there and just start to throw the ball and show that he can find receivers and not miss guys wide open. So I see, honest to God, I see Chicago balling out in this game. It being an ugly game in Kansas City. And for some reason, I know it's a 13-point spread, so I'll say it once. I like Chicago in this game. I actually like the Bears to beat the Chiefs. I know that sounds absolutely crazy. I get it. But I think there's a way that it unfolds where Chicago is close and they win by 3. Ray.
I completely disagree on this one.
Good.
Good. I think Spags defense, because we know what Spags is good at.
Back to the NASCAR.
I mean, he's good. He is at his best when there's a wounded antelope in the Serengeti just limping around. And that's what Justin Fields and the Bears are right now. Justin Fields has every right to be mad. On that pick last week, when they were on their own 5 or 6 yard line, they threw 2 identical screen passes in a row.
Yep.
So the pick was the second identical screen pass
in a row.
Yeah. You're not going to win in the NFL when you're stupid. And right now, the Bears offense is incredibly stupid.
Yep.
They play this weird horizontal game where they throw the ball 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. I think 2% of his plays have been down the field throws.
Yep.
So how is a quarterback going to succeed in that situation? I don't think that changes this week. I don't think they are capable of changing it. I think the spread could be 20, and I would take Kansas City here.
So here's why I disagree. And Shawn, the NASCAR package, or how the Chiefs play him, they're going to be sending Jones, sending everybody, right? If he does what he's most natural at, and that's not running, he's going to have lanes galore against the Chiefs. They're going to pressure. If he steps up and just does, Ray, he
hasn't done it yet, though.
But I'm just saying, if he's angry, I don't think he can make it up with his arm or his head. I think he can make it up with his feet. Like, I think you see him run today as if he's the main option. I'm being serious. If they come with that pressure, he should just, I would tell him, let them.
You're muted. You're muted, Mike. No, you're still muted. You're still up. Yeah, I don't see it, man. I just see this as a slaughter. An absolute slaughter.
I see the pressure coming, and I see Fields running. I see him having 80 yards. Seriously. Shawn, what do you like in this game?
I agree with Brother Ray. The Chicago Bears, they're trying to make Fields a pocket passer, which he'll never be. And the thing is, the term for the team is overrated. Coaching overrated. You have Herbert overrated, DJ overrated, Komet overrated. You know what I mean? All these guys, and it's just like, what are we doing here? Are we going to really start building a team, or are we really going to just do whatever? And Kansas City is on a different level because of coaching, because of talent, because they got their two big guys back with Kelsey and their captain on defense, which you saw what he
Chris
here, Chris Jones.
Jones.
So you see what they could do last year.
Their defensive coordinator stepped down.
Yeah, exactly.
For health issues, Chicago.
But that's my point. So here's my point, I guess. Kansas City is this beautiful car coming in, right? And Chicago is this beat up jalopy, but like they're bumping, like Dre, and it's going to be a serious drive up. Like, in other words, Chicago comes in and they break it down to what they can do, and they let that kid run. If that kid just starts running, it will change Kansas City's approach in a heartbeat. If that kid gets like 50 yards first half, starts to run, I'm telling you, I'm making my case for the biggest upset of the day, and that being the Chicago Bears beating the Kansas City Chiefs, based on the fact that Fields is going to have to run today. He's got so much pressure on him. If they tell him to do what you want to do instead of like listening, because the issue was they're talking to him the whole time in his helmet, and he hates it. That's the issue. And as he's getting up, they're actually pointing out which receiver they think will be open, which one won't. So he's now falling back and looking at the people they told him to, as opposed to just playing football. That's what's happening to Justin Fields, right? If they tell him this week, just play ball, playing ball to that kid is running. We have to agree on that, right? If they told him to do whatever you do, like do what you like, I would think it runs a lot.
Do you think Spags is sitting there going, gee, I wonder what they're going to try and do this week? Do you think Spags doesn't know that they're going to try to get him they have one of the best defenses in the league right now. They're no joke.
But I'm a Spags fan, and I followed his career. Here's the thing. When you said earlier he's going to go after the wounded animal, that's what Spags does. The Giants were never known with him as a defensive coordinator stopping a tight end, anything over the middle, anything like that. Because we'd send the front, and the back would have to keep the back closed. So I'm just saying there's going to be like 7-yard carries for this kid all day long if he wants them. Like down, down. That's the upset of the day. Well, we'll see.
Upset of the year if it comes through. Easily upset of the year.
Yeah, well, you heard it here. Pittsburgh goes to Vegas, and the Raiders are favored 2.5 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The over-under is 43. What do you make of this game?
I have Las Vegas -3. I love the Raiders today. Love the Raiders. Pittsburgh is not a good football team. They won that game, but I was watching that game, and both teams gave me a sickening feeling in my stomach because of the fantasy players I have on both teams. I am not optimistic. The Steelers still have not put it together. I think Jaylen Warren is a great DFS play. There's been rumors that he's going to get the ball more. I think it's finally going to happen this week. I love him over 5 receptions. I think that's a great prop play. They need to give him the ball because he is the better running back. I'm sorry to say it, all you Alabama fans, but Jaylen Warren's the better running back. I still like Las Vegas. Their defense has not been as bad. It's been quietly better. Jimmy G is a big upgrade over Derek Carr. I love Vegas today. I still don't think Pittsburgh has it. Until Pittsburgh can prove it and that offense can get on track, they're really not that good without Johnson in the lineup. And they're showing it. I mean, Freiermuth got nothing last week. He had a great, preseason, but Pickett, I haven't seen it yet. I love Vegas here, giving the 3 at home.
Shawn.
This one for me is total pick'em, though I know point spread isn't. But I took Pittsburgh just because I believe the Raiders defense is not worth anything, not worth a hill of beans. If that hill of beans was made of beans. Yeah. So Raiders have a great offense. They're the inverse of the Patriots. Pittsburgh is just they're a crappy team, but I think they have enough on both sides to eke out a win. And I really mean eke. I could see this being 21-20.
All right. I also agree with Shawn. I think Pittsburgh stinks. I think the Raiders kind of stink too in a weird way. And I think this is another game that gets ugly, real ugly. And I have the Steelers winning this game. That's my whole problem. I told you guys this. Like I was looking at every game going, I could see the underdog winning this. That it's weird. They're weird spreads. Like I saw it as a pick 'em when I initially looked at it. And I'm thinking, Pittsburgh's the kind of team they win this game. They just win a game like this. It's just, I don't know. I'm having deja vu, day. Philadelphia goes to Tampa Bay. Philadelphia, the worst organization in the history of all sports organizations, travels into Tampa Bay, and Philly is favored by 5 with an over-under of 45. I'll go first as the NFC East whisperer. Philly beats Tampa by more than 5. That 5's there to make you think, ooh, it's under a touchdown. Don't worry about that. Philly is another team like Dallas that I would be afraid of. Like I would tell other kids from other gangs, be scared of this gang, and they're coming in, everybody up. They're going to kill you. You're not going to score a point. You know what I mean? That's how bad I think it's going to be. Shawn.
Yeah, totally agree. Philadelphia's defense finally shows up big time, starts looking more like San Francisco. And you're going to see a lot of defense this weekend with all the weird weather that's going on across the country. So Philadelphia all the way. I'd put it at 6.5, but I'm not a Vegas odds maker or Sam Ace Rothstein.
There you go. Neither one. Ray, what do you think?
I think the Baker Love Fest comes to a little bit of an end this week. Tampa Bay, though, best defense in the league. Better than Philly. So they've been quietly very, very good. And Baker's played really, really well. And if you look at, what they have for weapons, I mean, they're pretty good. Tight end that they have, I really like as a sleeper, Cade Otton. I think if you look at him throughout the year, he's going to be the third option on that offense. And Baker loves the tight end. Mm-hmm. So I think Cade Otton's someone you can get cheap. Someone in fantasy, too, for a streamer will be very good this year. But I have to take Philly here. But this is another spread. Again, it should be more than 7. And it's 5. All these 5-point spreads, it makes you stop. I know Mastradamus would be like, stop. Take Tampa Bay home. But I have to go with Philly here. They're just that much better team. You saw what Swift did last week. Now they're going to have him and Gainwell. So, they should roll. A.J. Brown should have a bounce back. Very angry last week. He had words with Hurts on the sideline. I think they get Brown on track. And I think Devonta Smith is better than Brown. So, to me, they're just loaded.
You don't want to have A.J. Brown come have words with you, Shawn, right?
No, he's a big dude.
No. And people forget how big he is. People always think – exactly.
He's not Devonta Smith. Like, if Devonta Smith came up to you, I'd be like, dude, just walk.
Now, he'll just run by you, though.
Yeah, no, I know. But, you know what I mean? I wouldn't listen to him. But A.J. Brown –
I go, what's up, shorty?
Yeah. Why don't you eat a sandwich? Who do you like in this game? I'm sorry. Ray, the next game. I didn't even mention it. Rams go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's here by 2.5. The over-under is 43.5. In that game, Ray, who do you like?
Love the Rams. Love the Rams. I think Cincinnati, they're in dire straits right now. And, Burrow is not healthy. Even if he plays, he does not look like the same Burrow. He had a decent game fantasy-wise last week, put up some decent numbers. But that team on both sides of the ball, there's something wrong. And I think that coach, who I do not like, we're starting to see, that he's a fraud. Chase has done nothing this year. The Rams, another defense, along with Tampa Bay, they're at the top of the league right now. And this Kyron Williams, now that he's the number 1 running back, he looks really good. He can pass protect. He can do it all. Stafford's playing decent. I like the Rams in this. They're getting 2.5. The Bengals have done nothing yet. I love the Rams in this. All over the Rams.
Shawn?
It's tough to do this Kumbaya fest. Initially, I like the Rams. I'm giving Burrow one last week. If he can't pull it together, if he shows me another stink fest, I'm never picking the Bengals again for the rest of this year. But the Rams, what a job they do. What a job they do with picking up talent and developing talent. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. They need to be credited more. But I'm taking Cincinnati just because they're at home, and I believe in Burrow. He won me a fantasy championship in a couple of leagues last year. If this is it, like I said, though,
he may not play.
Burrow's not playing.
He may not play.
Oh,
it's a game time decision.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing. I thought I saw that.
No,
maybe I was wrong.
They're playing games.
I like Cincinnati in this one too, and here's why. I think they're playing games with him being injured and at what level, but I think he plays. And I think week 3 is like week 1 for Burrow by his schedule, how he plays usually, right? He does it every year so far. All right, starts off soft and slow, and then he gets better, right? Like Mike Hunt. So I like Cincinnati to win by 2.5. I think the fact that they don't hit anymore in preseason, that they don't have real games, there's no continuity. Like, you want to know what's wrong with the Giants' offensive line? They don't play together. They don't know what each other's going to do until it happens. And I don't know how you can have a team like that. Like, with less preseason, with less hitting in the preseason camps, right? They barely have a hit. The NFL starts off slow, really bad. There's like a lot of teams that I can point to, like offenses or defenses, the lines, whatever, quarterbacks, and go, slow starter. This is a slow start. It's going to get better, but what the heck is it doing right now? And I think Joe Burrow is a classic example of that. Like, he's another should have, but I'm going with him this one time. He should, like, throw 3 touchdowns today on Monday and light it up, right? Come off the questionable thing, can he play? Can he not? Cameras on him. Prime time. Joe is good in prime time. Plow, 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 plow. They should win. That's my opinion. But with that said, the locks we have, and we do have actually a lot. We all agree on the Vikings, Titans, Texans, Broncos, Colts, Dallas, and Philly. That's a 7-team parlay. My best advice is to put 100 on each team, and you will come ahead. That is, I'm going to say that's a fact. We'll see if I get proven wrong, but it's always been a fact. You will not lose on money on that if you bet those games. We will be at least, I think we're going to be 7-0, honestly, but let's say we're at least 6-1, 5-2 at the worst, right? We're not going to be 4-3. You'd still make your money back, but we won't be that low. So that's my whole point. I love these locks. Vikings, Titans, Texans, Broncos, Colts, Dallas, and Philly. Now, really quick, my whole upset parade today, if you took all the upsets that I picked, the Titans, Texans, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Carolina, Indianapolis, Atlanta, the Commies, the Broncos, and the Jets, I have them all winning in their games today. They are all underdogs. That's 3, 6, 10. That's absurd. But I think the spreads this week were absurd. I don't think anyone knows where the teams really are in week 3. I don't. I think there's teams that are starting late, some that started early, and it's the NFL season is so weird, man. Because like in 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about teams that stink and how good they are all of a sudden. It just happens. So, Ray, before we go fantasy-wide, who should we look out for?
Oh, fantasy-wise, I already talked about C.J. Stroud. I mean, I love the kid. I think he's got a good matchup today against Jacksonville. I love Gus Edwards today. Justice Hill not taking any carries. It's going to be the Edwards show, and he's been averaging over 5 yards a carry. I think, and you guys are going to probably stone me, but I think Kyle Pitts, we're going to have a Kyle Pitts sighting today. He's really cheap in DFS, and I think he's going to get off the snide today. I think he's going to have a touchdown today. I talked about Kate Otten. I think he's a sneaky play. I'll keep banging the desk for Chig Okwanku. He got off the snide 4 for 35 last week. He was the second, leading receiver. I think he's going to get better and better in that offense, and I think he's a steal. I already talked about Jalen Warren. Player for the Packers I really like, real big sleeper, Dontavian Wicks. Looks like Christian Watson is not going to play today. Dontavian Wicks has had more snaps in the first 2 weeks than any other Green Bay wide receiver. This kid's a rookie, undrafted. I think he was drafted. He was really low. Again, highest number of snaps. I think this kid is someone you pick up in fantasy. I think he's going to have had a touchdown last week. I think he's going to have another one today. And another guy, another deep sleeper for the Cardinals. And this is a team, again, they're going to be behind a lot. Michael Wilson, rookie out of Stanford. Quietly had 3 catches for 53 yards last week, caught all 3 of his targets. He's the only Cardinals wide receiver with size. He's 6'2", 215. Look for him to just pick up steam because, again, another team, negative game script, he's going to get fantasy points. So he's another guy I like that you can get very, very cheap.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a couple of quick fantasy questions. I get to cheat in this way. I can ask you directly. So starting wise, lineups, I'm going with NTN and Madison as 2 running backs and electing to go with 4 wide receivers today because I already had Debo go off. I have A.J. Brown, Amari Cooper, Josh Reynolds, and Devontae Parker. Now, in their place, I could start Brandon Johnson from Denver, but I don't think he's going to be consistent. Devin Singletary from Houston, I expect him to actually get better. And I haven't seen – Cordero Patterson's out, and Deonta Foreman is yet to get anything significant with Chicago. So, Ray, am I making sense? I wouldn't start DJ Shark, Brandon Johnson, or Devin Singletary over Brown, Cooper, Parker, and Reynolds.
I mean, Parker had a good week last week, but that was because it was against the Dolphins. He does that. He'll have one good game, and then he'll disappear for the next 14. I might start Chark over him because I think, again, with no rookie in the game and with the red rifle, I could see Thielen and Chark getting some balls today. I just don't have any faith in Parker. Butte is not going to play, though, for the Patriots. So it should be Parker and Bourne. So I guess you stay there, but the Jets defense is pretty good, and Sauce is going to be on somebody. He's going to shut somebody down.
Well, what's up with Devin Singletary?
I mean, Pierce is getting the carries. He's not doing anything with it, but Singletary, he was a little bit better last week as far as getting the ball more. He may get the ball more if Pierce still doesn't perform. He may be someone you take a chance on and hope that he gets even some passes. He gets some receptions because he will be the pass catching back on that team, and they will be behind. So they take Pierce out and they put him in. But I mean, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, Parker for me is tough. Going against that Jets defense, I might go Chark.
All right. Shawn,
I gotta say with Ray, like all the sleepers, the only thing is what you have going on, Mike. I might look towards the waiver wire because there's people out here that you keep on finding. Like a good example is Curtis Samuel. I don't know if he's available in your league, but Curtis Samuel keeps on being the third option, and yet he's the one who keeps on getting targets because there's sort of trust there. So there's other people. Another example would be Robert Woods. Robert Woods doesn't seem like a great option, but he has that kind of symbiosis with Stroud now where he's getting those targets. So I don't know. That might be something that you want to look for just because the New England Jets game is going to be supposedly a downpour.
Madison's a good start, by the way. No Cam Akers. He's not active. So like we said in the beginning, Madison's going to be angry today. Yep. He's going to be out to prove a point. I think the Vikings going to be out to prove a point and give him that shot.
Yeah.
Tons of receptions too.
What a weird day today as far as like football. Like I really like the underdogs. Like I really don't like the spreads. Like it came out and they're very off. They're very misleading, But we'll see if I'm right or wrong. All right, so let's do the wrap up. Again, the locks. Go out and put your money down. Vikings, Titans, Texans, Broncos, Colts, Dallas, Philly. So for Captain Picard, for Brother Ray, it is me, Michael King, Mike L. This was Legit Fantasy Football brought to you by LegitPodcast.com. It is Legit Podcast, DOTCOM on all social media. On the channel tonight, we have Legit Paranormal at 7:05. I believe we're having Rick Lysick from Block Island Ghost Tours on so we can grill him about ghosts and living on Block Island and how creepy it gets in the wintertime. It goes from the happiest place in the world to one of the most creepiest places I've ever been. And I've been there. I had to walk in the wind. Long story. Guys, thank you so much. Get your bets